Pretty good basketball last night, right? And it you sit there and go like, shouldn't we be talking about Jimmy Butler? Because Jimmy Butler drops 56 and 9. The Heat score 41 fourth quarter points, come from behind, beat the Milwaukee Bucks, and take a commanding 3-1 series lead. Yeah, we should. But if it's your first time listening to National Sports Radio, let me help you out here. Jimmy Butler and LeBron James walk into a room, right? Who's the guy with LeBron James? I know him from somewhere, right? That's how it works. So let's start with LeBron. The Lakers take a 3-1 series lead. The game was, I thought, remarkably well played. I mean, it was a incredible. It goes to overtime, and the fact first that the Grizzlies forced overtime, I thought was impressive, and then it should be pointed out that they forced overtime, but that was only after a basically D'Angelo Russell-led Lakers comeback. He hits 3 consecutive threes. And the D'Angelo Russell, anybody's experienced it, it's a roller coaster. It's a, oh, boy. And then he hits a couple shots. I love D'Angelo Russell. A very frustrating player to watch play if he plays for your team. You're like, is he trying to help us win or trying to help the other team win? But D'Angelo Russell, 3 straight threes after not making one the rest of the night. What's crazy about it is those 3 straight threes, it was still a minus 16. In other words, the Lakers were 16 points worse than the Grizzlies when he was on the court. It's crazy. But LeBron James, as he sucks up all the oxygen in the room, he makes 2 big drives late in the game, one at the end of the fourth quarter to send the game to overtime. And then a big drive to his left to help seal the deal. And he got fouled in overtime when he screamed at the crowd. I love that most sports radio shows will sit here and, oh my God, he's the greatest ever because of that. Like, okay, let's take a breath here. He didn't shoot the ball well. What actually impressed me about LeBron wasn't just the drive, because let's not compare game-winning shots with guys hanging all over you to layup. But the layup was tough because Jaren Jackson Jr., Defensive Player of the Year, excellent shot blocker, came over from the weak side. He had to throw it in off the window, extra high above the square, and it just drops in. It was a great finish over contact, over a shot blocker. It's a great finish. What actually impressed me about LeBron was he was doing other things to help his team win because he's not the same ball-dominant guy who can take a ball and do whatever he wants on the court. Right? The genius to what they're able to do is he's kind of playing power forward or center most of the night. And the matchup that they wanted was Xavier Tillman, who's a college power forward who's improved, or Dylan Brooks, who's smaller and more athletic, but far less strong than LeBron James. He gets 2 drives. What's interesting, though, is how we look at things, right? Our perception is so, and this is I don't think we did this with Jordan. We definitely didn't do it with Bird and with Magic. Some of it is the time, some of it is the media, some of it is LeBron. But when LeBron plays well, we go to did you know he was a +8 last night, right? I know he didn't shoot well, but he's a +8. No one mentioned that previous to this in the series, they were a -12 with him on the court. We only use plus-minus when it works in our favor. LeBron's only clutch when it works in our favor. Right? And I should point this out that the difference in basketball now and the Jordan era couldn't have been more apparent in that last play. Right? Go look at Jordan's last shot against the Utah Jazz, and what do you see? Right? They both got the ball at essentially the same spot on the court. Hey, Jordan did the step back and held the follow-through. Why? Because there's like 3 dudes in the lane. Because back then, you had a center and a power forward, and their defenders were in the lane. LeBron gets the ball, and there's a Laker on the wing. There's a Laker in the corner. Right? And I believe on the wing was Austin Reeves, and in the corner was Dennis Schroeder, who may have been wearing both uniforms because he was playing for both teams last night. Like, what are you doing, dude? What are you actually doing? Like, you can't do the ice in my veins when you make a shot and then make one of the most ridiculous turnovers ever and go like, do you have ice in your veins or just stupid pills in your veins? Like, what is going on here, Schroeder? Anyway, point is that in the 1990s, if you had two guys on the strong side, you help off those guys, and you also have bodies in the lane. There are no bodies in the lane. Jaren Jackson's man was in the weak side corner, the left side corner. He had to come all the way across to try and block that shot, and LeBron laid it in over him. But I would encourage people to take a breath on the LeBron's now the greatest when there are games in which he's not as great. What's impressive to me is the 20 rebounds, finding a way to be effective, finding a way to move the basketball when you're not making shots, finding a way to get other guys involved. And, yeah, we should point out that D'Angelo Russell hit 3 gigantic threes because I think most Laker fans are ready to make him walk the plank previous to those 3 threes. Like, what is this dude doing? Why is he on the roster again? It's just a great basketball game. And the Lakers found a way, and this is why veterans tend to win in the postseason. You got to feel the pain before you taste the champagne. Yes, LeBron took 2 charges, and you can argue all you want about the validity of where his feet set, did he move underneath, whatever. Have you ever seen a superstar player take a charge in a big game? I sure as hell haven't. My appreciation for LeBron is way different than everybody else who just tries to tell, oh, he's great, he's clutch, he's great. Like, how about we actually watch the game? Dude couldn't make a shot, looked tired, struggled defensively, but put himself in great position on defensive rotations in transition where you have John Morant, who literally is going to jump over him. He put himself in harm's way. Like, that's what great teammates do. And when you can't make a shot, go help us out on the boards. He did. 5 offensive rebounds are huge. Huge for the Lakers. It's also fair to point out that this is not the Grizzlies team not being whole dramatically affects them on the boards. They've lost this series because Ja can't shoot consistently and they're just getting beat up on the boards. They're getting beat up on the boards. Yes, they had 16 offensive rebounds themselves. Jaren Jackson was great. But throughout the series, their lack of size outside of Jaren Jackson has been a big issue. And LeBron took advantage of it last night. But, man, that was good basketball. And it also proves as a 7 has a 3-1 lead. And I'll grant you that this is not the Grizzlies. They're not whole, but I'm not sure Steven Adams is changing this series altogether. I'm not sure Brandon Clark is changing this series altogether. They're not fully healthy, but it's another. But we look at the Warriors and their competitiveness with the Kings. We look at outside of the 1-8 series. The regular season means nothing. Literally nothing. Zero. Zilch. Zip. Nada. And the genius to, especially ESPN, is the nonsensical conversations most of the year about the drama or about MVP, which is trying to make you watch a league that doesn't really care about the regular season. It's not an indicator of anything. I mean, some shooting numbers, some efficiency numbers, some of the things, but for the most part, might as well be a different sport. Right? The Lakers were favored to win this series, rightfully so. So there's a bunch to dig into, and I think it's all good. And the Grizzlies look super foolish for essentially what Klay Thompson called him out for in the regular season. Remember when the Grizzlies are running him off the court and he's doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, let me know when you have 4 rings? It's just, until you actually win something when it matters, none of the other stuff, we don't care. You look foolish. You got to not just talk it, you got to walk it. And look, this happened to the Lakers 2 years ago. Remember, they were running their mouths to the Phoenix Suns. Anthony Davis goes down and gets hurt, and they get mollywomped and run off the floor. But NBA right now has got to be doing some somersaults with the idea that the Lakers and the Knicks look like they're moving on. 2 vibrant fan bases, two coasts, two different time zones, two huge ratings plays for the league who's negotiating a new TV deal. Talk about timing, right? The Knicks are resuscitated in the year in which they're negotiating TV deals, and the Lakers and Steph being in the playoffs, these are all good things. All good things.